Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess sometimes I can be an asshole, but really it's like I'm not really good in social situations. Sometimes I don't put forth an effort.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why usually I don't go out, because then it's like if I'm going to be an asshole, I'd rather just not go out and just stay in. If I don't have the strength and the energy to be nice to people.
Yeah. I kind of went through something like that, like back home before I moved. Like I just wasn't enjoying being like home or the situation I was in. So it was just like whenever I would go out and do anything, I would just be miserable and just like, would come across as real dickish or asshole-ish, like, but then like, I don't know, I moved here and just forced myself to go out and be a little better in social situations and introduce myself.
I think it's better here. People here are like more fun and cooler. And
yeah. Everyone
nicer.
seems real chill around here.
Yeah.
It's been a good time since I moved here. I'm coming up on a year now, so.
In Austin?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you moved after me. Mm-hmm. I remember you coming in.
Yeah, you were the reason I stood on the Creek in the Cave stage for the first time, just because you were like, "Can you help me sound check?" So I got because I had just moved here like that week.
Was it for open mic?
No, it was for your dating show. Like I went in, I didn't even know what was going on. I just went. That's when we first
on Sunday.
That's when we first like actually met. I just walked in because I was going to go there and just do some writing and check it out. Yeah. And then I show up and then like you were like there and I was like, oh shit, Hans, like 'cause I'd seen you like online and a friend of mine's a big fan of yours back home. So
yeah, but not you.
She likes my comedy.
I mean, like, you're not a fan of me.
Oh, I hadn't seen it at that point. But dude, your writing's great. I love it.
Thanks, man. I mean, you're killing it. You have good sets, sometimes better than mine.
I try. I do. I just go up and do my job.
It's not a competition.
It's not like, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I remember that night. I thought you were just like a normal person, or no, I don't know what I thought, but I was like, oh, I've never seen this guy before.
Yeah.
And then it's like weird because now I see you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you taught me how to play Catan. Yeah. We played Catan a couple times, which I haven't been able to come into the games just recently or being able to go is just because of the early mornings at the gym, working there.
I appreciate it because every time you can't come, you tell everyone, hey, I can't come.
Yeah.
And then nobody expects you there.
Yeah. That's nice.
It's like it starts a nice train of like people that can't come.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, he can't come. Well, then it's okay that I don't come.
Oh shit, yeah. That makes sense. That's where you're like, hey, you don't have to respond every time. It's cool. I do appreciate the
invites. That's probably why people think I'm an asshole.
Yeah. I get it though. As soon as you said it, it clicked. I was like, oh yeah. Then everybody else is just gonna.
It's funny because
the message is just gonna blow up, and then it becomes the whole message of who's not going.
Yeah, it's like negative. It's like a no train. In pickup artist circles, it's called the yes train. Mm-hmm. If you start questions that they have to say yes to, then they're more likely to say yes later on.
Yeah.
Like, you like to have fun, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You like
the party? Yeah. You like colors? You want to do Molly?
Food?
Sure.
You want to take some GHB? But yeah, I mean, have you ever gone into the pickup artist world?
No, I haven't. I never went down that rabbit hole of you've been watching some videos and what they do.
Hell yeah.
trying to get that game going.
Trying to trick bitches.
Trying to trick them and just learn the skills and learn how to acquire what you want.
Yeah, that's that famous line. I think Rodney Dangerfield said it. I heard Joe Rogan say Rodney Dangerfield said it, where he's like, tricked him again, or has fooled him again after a show. Yeah,
that's funny. Just like Chappelle's joke where he's like, guys buy nice things because women like nice things. Like, oh, nice Porsche. Gotcha, bitch.
I love his joke about like women that dress up and they're like, and it's never a woman's fault if she gets, I forget what it was. But if I go up to a man who's dressed up like a policeman and he's like, excuse me, sir, just because I'm dressed like this. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. It's like no matter, like, even if you're at like a place where everyone's trying to date each other, like a singles meetup, girls will never admit that they're there to meet someone. Yeah. Like if you're at a basketball court, like they're there to play basketball, but there's no place to go where like this is exclusively for dating. If you don't want to date, don't come here. Yeah, it's like going to a singles mixer and just like, oh, sorry, no, I'm not looking for anything. Like, why are you here? Well, that's part of their game. It's like their ability to say no is a large part of their power in that's true. In a meetup. You ever said no? Yeah.
I mean, you feel powerful, right? It happens. You're like, yeah, no. And you're like, I feel good about myself.
Yeah. I don't need you. My life is amazing without you.
It's true.
But I think that's a bad attitude. I think we should come together more and create communities and organizations so that we can collectively bargain.
Collectively bargain, yeah. Get rid of the dollar.
Yeah.
Just barter everything.
Yeah. The Ethereum-based economy.
Ethereum, you into all that? You got some of that? Me neither.
I don't think that's how you're supposed to use it.
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to use it like without thinking about it. If you have to think about it, then it's like, what's the point of it?
Yeah.
It's like you have to spend so much money thinking about the currency.
That's right. You're going through like, all right, you really have to want something that's only available by purchase of that to use it, because it's like you got to go through like 45 steps.
Yeah. They make it difficult. But I hope that it'll be the future one day.
One day.
Yeah.
I was like, I got into it for a little bit when the whole NFT thing was coming out. I was learning about it, and then I was thinking of turning like my paintings into NFTs. I just never followed through with it, but it was a lot of steps just to even set it up before I could even like put money into it. And I was like, oh, this just seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, it's supposed to be better than money, not worse.
Yeah.
What paintings?
I do alcohol ink paintings. It's it's called alcohol ink, and it's just like basically ink, and then I use rubbing alcohol. Yeah. And I just put it on this thin paper called Yupo paper. It's like a non-absorbent, non-porous paper, and
like
then
a German submarine.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Is that what it's from?
No.
U-boat.
Oh, Yupo.
Oh, Yupo.
So YUPO.
Okay, so you have a specific medium that you specialize in.
Yeah, I just do that, and then and then once it's liquid on the paper, then I use like an hair dryer, and I manipulate it until it comes out to like a cool painting or something. I think I haven't showed you these, but yeah, you could check it out on A Boy Named Leslie on Instagram. That's my painting one. But
that's cool.
Stuff like that.
Oh, it's colorful.
Yeah, it's real colorful and abstract.
Okay, and you have like a comedy one too.
And comedy, yeah, that's just for like my art. That's what I did. Like, got into that over COVID, and then I just started painting, and because I originally got off like social media when COVID happened. I got off social media completely. I deleted like everything because it was like I didn't know when comedy was coming back. And then I got into painting, and then I started sharing those. Then I got an Instagram for that, and that was my main account for a little bit over COVID.
So you were like, fuck comedy.
Well, it was, yeah. Well, who knew when it was coming back? I needed some kind of release in painting. It was like
6 months later, you're like, I regret it.
Yeah, I did regret it because then comedy started coming back, and then I had to start over from scratch. Lost all my contacts like through all those years of doing shows,
That's how I felt when I moved to New York. I was like, fuck Seattle. I'm out of here. I'm going to go to New York and make it big and forget about all you people. And then I got to New York and I was like, oh, fuck. If I had shows in Seattle, that'd be nice if I could fly back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you kind of called it early on comedy. You're like, COVID destroyed comedy. Comedy sucks.
Well, it wasn't that. It was just more of like the distraction of worrying about posting. Like it was just like a nice break, nice mental cleanse. I was stuck at the house, going nuts, sitting on social media, and I was just like, I took a break, and in retrospect,
everyone was going crazy, right? Everyone had their opinions on what we should do and shouldn't do.
Yeah, exactly, and you couldn't escape it. In retrospect, I should have just deactivated it and then restarted it later. Yeah. But I was like,
you can like do a middle ground.
Yeah.
Or just delete the app and keep the account up.
Exactly, yeah. But, I committed fully.
It was dramatic.
Yeah, it was dramatic, and I fully committed to it.
You made a statement. You were like, fuck you guys.
And honestly, I mean, it was nice. It was really nice. I mean, if it wasn't for comedy, I don't think I would really mess with social media at all.
Yeah.
Like, it was really nice. I had a good routine. COVID was nice for that. Like, got a good routine. It was eating right, just sleeping right, working out all the time, like, doing my painting, and it was going well, and the painting was cool because I was just doing it for fun, and it's like every time I would post a picture, I'd have like at least 3 or 4 people that I knew messaging me asking to buy it. Yeah. So I was like, every time I'd post them, someone would buy it back home at least,
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. And every time I'd sell one, I would just up the price $50 for the next one, and then it was selling paintings for a good amount of money.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you get to a limit, and you're like, okay, now they are not buying it, and then you find out what price works for you.
Exactly. And then people would ask me for commissions, like special stuff. Like they'd be like, I like these colors. Can you make me one like this? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then make a couple paintings, and I would only make them 11 by 14 or smaller.
Yeah.
You could do like sets of like smaller ones or sets of like 11 by 14, but I wouldn't go any
That's
bigger
cool.
than
Does
that.
it help your comedy? Do you feel like it's the same muscle?
No, not in the same. Not in the same sense of like working out and being funny and being quick up here, but it's the same. It was the closest thing to the level of enjoyment I get from, being on stage, like just doing something, creating something.
I feel like it's the same thing. It's in many ways. We find the similarities, the core, the thing that we're doing is the same, and it's about other people, really. Like you want to bring happiness to their life with color.
Yeah, that was true. Because when people would be like, "Oh, I really love that," or like leave a comment or just message me, "Hey, can I buy that?" That made me feel good. I was like, "Oh man, I made this, and someone else gets enjoyment out of it."
Yeah.
So it is the same as like in that regard.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like everything in like America is about like individual and selfishness, but like even when you're being selfish, it's really about other people.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be a rock star, it's like you want to play music for other people. So it's
you're playing. You do a little bit for yourself, but you're doing it for the rock star reasons, and then other people get enjoyment out of it, which only makes it better for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so what do you think about like hanging out with a girl, and then she's like, "I don't want to have sex with you," and then you're like, "I don't want to hang out with her anymore"?
Well, I mean, if you made your intentions clear, like if it's like a dating situation, but I've had moments in my life where I've been interested in friends of mine, and then it's not reciprocated, and I mean, it's not that I don't hang out with them anymore, but eventually it just dies off anyway,
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's not like the only thing that I want women for is to fuck them, but if that's something that I want from them and then it doesn't happen, then it's like feelings can get hurt, and then I don't want to hang out with them. Or if that's like the only value that they have is like their sexuality, and I don't like their personality that much, or they're too volatile and they're not going to fuck me, then I don't really want to hang out with them.
That's true. When do you think you're going to get past the point of wanting to have sex with them just because of their sexuality? Like, wouldn't you rather have sex with someone that you enjoy their personality as well?
Yeah.
Ideally?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but if like there's someone that's on the borderline, and then the sex is on the table, then it makes it easier to get along with them.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I just
do you think that's a little like not, I can't think of the right term. It's not, I mean, it's obviously not beer goggles, but like sex goggles. It's like, it's like you're putting up.
The only thing that I see in people is their sex organs.
No, not that. It's just like when you are interested in somebody, like and you want to have sex with them, it makes it easier to put up with like
they look
things.
More attractive.
Or they
that's
just
on
seem
the table, and then when it's off, you're like, oh, this person's psychotic.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this person sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. I just think that women can be just as shitty as men.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they use sexuality as a weapon to get ahead, and when it comes time for them to cash in, they're like, no, I'd rather not. I'd rather get all the benefits without having to have orgasms. And it's like, it's very transactional, and it's very selfish. And I think like it's like with anything, like it's all about competition and about trying to like get ahead and use whatever tools that you can, your race, your gender, and then like having to pay as few prices as possible to get that.
Yeah, but not everyone is like that, but it is a lot. It is very, very frequent. It's like it's rare to find someone that's not like using all the tools in their, or all the weapons in their arsenal.
Yeah, it's gross. Like especially if you're like Trump and you're a white dude, and you're all about winning, you're gonna use race to get ahead.
Yeah,
you're gonna shit on Mexicans to get ahead and get white people to love you.
It's true.
And that's why people who are all about winning and getting ahead are kind of like toxic people, because there's they only think about themselves, and it's like,
well, like the whole capitalistic like competitiveness, of everything, like that does get in some people's heads, and a lot of people do just that's the only thing that's important to them is winning. Like it's like kill or be killed. That's what all those Wall Street dudes, like Wolf of Wall Street. What's his name?
Gordon Gekko.
All those dudes. They all had that mentality.
Jordan Belfort.
Yeah, they all had that mentality. It's like, I'm the best. I'm gonna be the best, and I'm gonna do anything to get there.
Yeah, you can't make a community or a society out of that.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I just I think I don't like hanging out with people that are too like conniving and like lizard like and just only thinking about their own success and trying to get ahead at all costs.
Well, no, of course. Like, you want to hang out with people that you connect with, that you enjoy their
And then
company.
if they're like that and they won't have sex with me, then I don't want to hang out with them.
That's true.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm very sex obsessed and I'm very like pursuant of sex.
Have you always been sex obsessed? Because I kind of have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been important to me for a while.
Yeah.
And then I don't think that the game is fair, and I don't think that my opponents are playing fairly.
Yeah.
So now that I have an advantage, like, why don't I play the game the same way that women have been playing the game? If they're going to be grumpy and gloomy and negative and still get laid and still have relationships, then like, what if I am gloomy and grumpy and like see the worst in people? Like, what kind of society would that be?
I wouldn't, but what do you think, or why do you think, or why do you want to be the dark and gloomy guy? Because I used to be that guy, like, and now I'm like here and I'm
now
like actually
better.
pretty happy. Like,
You're
I'm
better
enjoying,
than me.
I'm not better than you. I'm better than I was.
Right, but
Yeah.
which is where I'm at,
Yeah.
according to you.
Well, I can relate to that feeling too. Like, but at some point I made the conscious decision. I was like, I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to like put effort into it. And like when I moved here, like
it's good to be a good person and happy and shit. But if you're just a happy, good person and everyone else is just shitting on you and taking advantage of it, then it's not worth it to give people the benefit of the doubt and be nice to them.
That's true. I mean, you could still be happy and happy and go lucky, but you don't have to let people walk on you either. That's just be firm in your beliefs and
if you're too firm, then people think that's being an asshole. But I just feel like it's like it wasn't a fair trial. It wasn't a fair like assessment of who I am. It's just instinctively no, and let me see some other things that I can get, like the value judgment that women place. I don't think was fair, and I resent that, and I resent their treatment of me. And now like I try to avoid that kind of situation. Like, I'm with a girl right now who's really nice, and there's no bullshit, and she's like showing me positivity and approval, and it's like for so long it's just been disapproval, and so I just try to avoid all that shit. Like, that's the one thing that I like, is like I don't want to open myself up to that, and like girls think that just because you want to fuck them that they can be shitty to you. And,
no, they shouldn't,
right.
And those are the girls you shouldn't even
which is unfair to categorize half the people and be like, this is what you guys did to me, so I'm going to treat half the population shitty. But I just feel like whenever you're in that arena and whenever girls meet someone that's a dude, they just like, they need to treat you shitty just so that you don't try to fuck them, because they don't like sex. They don't think it's a good thing, and it's just like they look at it as a transaction, and they try to get as much from sex as possible. Yeah. And it's about survival to them. It's like they're still in Victorian era type of thinking about sex, and I don't know. I just I guess I resent women and their assessment of me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just I don't know what I'm saying.
Now, when you're with like your new lady that likes you, shows you positivity and appreciation, like when that's happening, you're not thinking about all that other stuff. You're feeling good, or you're happy in the moment, and just like, and all that stuff's pretty much let go, So now the key is just to remember that shit's all washed away. It's over and done with. It's in the past, and it's just time to move on and create the best experience for yourself moving forward, like in life.
Yeah, it's important to do that. I just think that there's like air of negativity with the sex thing.
Yeah, I mean, there can be, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be one or the other. Either like in general, overall, everyone's gonna be in a good place or a bad place, and I think like overall, it's just like, I feel like when women look at people, they just are like,
What can I
automatically
get out of
assume
that?
the worst in people. And like, it's not a very loving or compassionate place that they're creating.
That's true.
And I think like it's it's like they're just like using the beauty and the love that they have natural access to, and using it for their selfish desires, partly because there's no social safety net and they have to get ahead. And I think if we had like universal healthcare and like treated people decently, then they wouldn't have to live in such a hard scramble world where they had to use their beauty and sex to get ahead. But I think at the end of the day, the result is that they're like negative, like critical people that I don't think that I don't value their judgment very highly.
Okay. All right.
I just want to get that off my chest.
Okay.
But
You feel better?
yeah, I just like, yeah, I don't care about that game, and I'm glad like I can skirt around it and be like, fuck you guys, this is a stupid game, and I'm not even gonna try and be more successful at it than you idiots.
That's true. You have a nice slight advantage, you know. But maybe you think also just with the success and, you know, being in the entertainment world, you know, there's a lot of people out there that want to be in that world, and so that's why they do try and use that to get into that world, you know, like you're saying. But outside of the entertainment circle, there are a lot of good people, a lot of good girls out there, you know.
Yeah,
You know?
it's just not set up for us to meet. Like
That's true. I mean, it's difficult for you now.
It's like the good people are never the ones that go out of their way to like approach people. It's always like the aggressive, like people that need it the most, who are the most desperate. They're like, "Hi, I noticed that where did you get that dress?
Yeah.
Oh, what number are you thinking of?"
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I have a different experience, you know?
Yeah. You got a good, you know, like, I think people look at you and they're like, oh, no matter what I throw at him, he's gonna be okay. Like, you're unshakable. Like, people think that they can like be whatever they are around you and it won't affect you.
That's nice. Yeah, I mean, I kind of take people as they are, and maybe that's true, but I don't know. It was funny. Like, someone saw me up. I was really frustrated the other day because I was having some issues with like with some editing stuff, and I was like frustrated. And like once I was like, man, I'm so mad right now. I'm so frustrated. This won't work. And like one of the other comics saw me, and then like I was talking to him yesterday, and he goes, that was like the most mad I've ever seen you. And all I said was like, I'm so upset, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I was like,
it's scarier because you're usually calm, and if you are not, then it's like, holy shit, he's really blowing a fuse right now.
oh. Yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm pretty relaxed. I just kind of go with the flow on a lot of things and just observe. And
like, things that bother most people don't bother you, but I bet if there's something that bothers you, then
it really bothers me. Yeah, I'm just like, oh, that bothers me.
Because you let so much slide off your back.
Yeah.
So what is your dating history like? You've played it cool and easy.
No, I mean, let's see. Like, when I was like 4 years old, I found my dad's Hustler stash, like his stack of Hustlers.
That is so young.
It's so young, yeah, for like hardcore porn. And like I found that, and I kept that a secret for like, I don't know, like until I was like 13, when I could realize I could sell them to my friends for money, you know, in middle school. But like I've been looking at porn since I was like 4 years old, super like hypersexualized. But I didn't lose my virginity until I was like 17. But I would always get caught like in elementary school playing doctor with like the girls at school or the girls that lived on the street.
Foreplay.
Yeah, basically not knowing what I was doing, you know, but just imitating what I saw in these magazines, you know.
Yeah.
And then I've had a few I've probably had about maybe 3 or 4 serious relationships, and then the rest of the time I've pretty much been mostly single like my whole life, you know, just going around. And when I was 22, 23, started working out and getting fit, and then I had like my like hoe phase, you know, and just went and just partied and did all that. And then I mellowed out, got back into school, graduated from college, and then just been kind of single. Like my last relationship ended in like 2019, and that was like a year and a half, 2 years ish, and I've been single ever since. And just, I don't know, it's
What's your sex life now? Do you have like a lot of one night stands?
No, I have a girlfriend right now.
Oh.
And I kind of just...
So that's your last relation. That's your latest relationship.
Latest relationship, yeah. It's like I have a girlfriend right now. We've been seeing each other for about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, she lives about an hour away, which is nice because it's like close enough. She comes up once a week and visits and hangs out.
What city?
Temple.
Okay.
She lives up in Temple. And
is that north?
North of Texas,
okay.
yeah.
My girl lives in San Antonio, so
Okay.
I'm in a similar situation.
Yeah. I like it though because it's like I still get
you get alone time.
Get my alone time.
Because if she was close, then we might always be together, and I might never get anything done.
Yeah, I do get those vibes from like my situation as well. Sometimes, you know, we do hang out a bit, and sometimes she stays a little longer than we planned on it. But it's like it's not like it's bothering me that she's there because I'm enjoying the time. It's just then afterwards I have a lot of playing catch up to do with like certain things, and like there are if I miss like
that bitch was distracting you.
Yeah, but it was good. It was a good distraction.
Yeah, until she starts nagging.
Yeah, but that hasn't happened yet. I don't see any signs of that coming on. So
yeah,
I mean,
she's in Temple.
Yeah,
it's far away. You can drown out. You can mute. You can turn the volume down.
Yeah, it's just I get my alone time, and she comes up, and we spend time together. And when she comes up, I give her the attention. And like she comes out with me to shows. If I'm booked on a show, I go out and do my show, and she'll come. And then like there's other times where it's like, hey, you can not coming up this week. I got things to do. Like I have shows to go to, and I want to go and do my own thing, you know. And she's cool with that, and she gets it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think dating can be hard, and the world can be unfair, and like I think there's a problem with society right now. We're not connecting, and we're not like loving each other as much as we could.
Yeah.
And it sucks being like a straight dude.
Yeah.
That's like average looking, but like what would be worse is like an ugly girl. Like they have the hardest.
They do. They really do. I mean,
but if you're a hot girl, it's like a gamble. You either get everything or nothing.
Yeah, it's how they decide to work with their weaponry, right?
Yeah. Whatever you're gifted with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're an ugly girl, you can always find a dude that is willing to fuck you.
I'm sure, yeah.
If that's what you're looking for, if that's all you need is like just a dildo, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta remember, there's ugly guys out there too.
Yeah.
And the ugly guys that don't have money.
But if you want something more. Yeah.
But, you know, that's why they say, you know, it's not all about looks. Some people find happiness with the person, and I mean, I like to think that I like go for more personality. I like to engage with and have sex with people that I like actually enjoy being around and have at least the mildest of a connection with, you know?
Yeah. It's always good to have looks though.
I agree. I'm shallow too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sucks being a dude, but I think being an ugly girl is way worse. So it's like, I shouldn't be complaining.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be like a competition. I think like overall there's like a lack of love in our society. And I think it's like because we practice hating each other.
Yeah. There's a lot of hate out there.
Yeah. What do you think that is? Because I know. I mean, I don't know, but I think I know.
You think? I think like especially like online with like comments and stuff where it's like there's no consequence, so it's like people can just be as mean as they want.
But isn't that a symptom? Like that's just what happens when there's a lot of hate out, is that a lot of hate gets spewed out on a communication platform.
Well, yeah, it's just like the saying, like you are who you hang out with, you know? Like, I mean, people don't hang out with people. They sit on the internet all day full of trolls and see all this shit talking and hate and all this stuff. That's what they're going to be around. It's what they're going to be like.
But that's like saying like, because they're around hate, they're going to have hate. But what causes the hate? What causes the struggle and the friction?
I think it's a lot of different things. Like could be like a single individual's insecurity about something. So then.
But what about love? Like if people are around love, they're going to spread more love.
Yeah.
If they're around hate, they're going to spread more hate. So why is it that we have more hate than love?
I mean, the world is just a cruel place. You know, things happen. You know, we live in a nice part of we live in a section of society that's nice and cushy and nervous.
And still, there's a lot of hate here.
And there's still a lot of hate. You know.
So you think it's just natural that humans are just hateful and just vicious?
I think it has to just comes through with maybe like more of a nature or nurture over nature, you know, kind of thing.
How we're nurtured.
how they were nurtured. Yeah, what
Because
they were
different
around.
cultures may have different levels of hate comments.
Yeah,
Like it seems
definitely.
like
I mean, I grew up. My stepdad was a big biker dude, and he was pretty prejudiced. And I grew up around a bunch of just racist jokes all the time.
What are you?
So I'm Italian and German.
Okay, so
But my stepdad raised me since I was like 18 months old. Like he
yeah,
was married to my.
that's the one with the Hustler magazines.
Oh no, that's my real dad.
Shit.
Because like my whole perspective on life is like I just grew up with two families. Like my parents were divorced and like with
One was the hustler, porn addicted dad. The other was a racist biker.
yeah, exactly. You know, so I grew up with
Seems like the same thing.
I grew up around that a lot, and we lived out in the country, so it was just like predominantly whites and Mexican people. And so, you know, when I was like 18, 19, you know, growing up in high school, I thought that shit was funny. And then as you like move out and you start meeting other people and you become more cultured, and I don't know, I took a bunch of mushrooms and had like a really profound trip about like why you shouldn't be a fucking racist piece of shit. And me and my dad had words and talked to him about how I feel. And
Should have dosed him.
Should have dosed him, yeah.
And some mushrooms and his scrambled eggs.
Yeah. He would love that. He liked all that shit.
Oh, he did it, and he was still racist.
Yeah, I think that was just like how he was raised. You know, his dad wasn't around, and he hung around like he was a delinquent kid. You know, didn't graduate high school. He was a painter, and then he got a job at the city, and it was a good job. And my mom worked in like merchandising, like out in grocery stores and convenience stores, like the end cap setups, you know, stuff like that. And
yeah, she went from town to town doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that your racist stepdad came from somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and he was raised with that as well. Maybe he's better than what he was raised in. But I think like the cause of all this hate is like a lack of opportunity, a lack of resources, and
resentment. Like it's the resentment because of those things.
Yeah.
You know, people get resentful
when they don't have enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, then they're gonna hate that situation. It'd be weird if they didn't. If they loved it, then that's something wrong with you as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's just economic. I mean, the whole system of economics that we live in was like, you know, based on, you know, like people taking as much as they can, and it's better than feudalism, but it's not much better. And I think like the reason why there's so much hate in the world is a lack of money flowing the way it should.
Yeah.
And that there's like economic inequality, and I think that's why there's hate. That's where there's racism. That's why there's like this obsession with like playing with your own genitals, because we don't control anything in our economy. The only thing we can control is our genitals. Like if we could have a store and we could make a store, then maybe like that would take away the need to like change your gender and be like the most creative gender possible to get attention. But we don't control anything. Like all that shit is controlled by Walmart or like PepsiCo and like GE, and like since the tools of controlling our environment and world is taken away from us, and we're just stuck in this like, what can we change? Like if we go out, like you have to have so much money to buy any piece of land, and then to make anything, it just costs so much money. Like we don't control anything.
Yeah.
The only thing we can control is ourselves. So we change our genitals and all that. And we grow resentful, and we're like, why don't we have enough? And then we get racist. And I feel like if money flowed instead of just being trapped up top, that it would be a way more loving and beautiful society. It's all about money.
Yeah. I think people would be more focused. I mean, just be more focused on living their lives if there wasn't a struggle to do so. You know, if it wasn't surviving and they were thriving, you know, they would definitely. Everyone just seems a lot happier when they're thriving, you know?
Yeah. And there are like rich kids that become addicts, but they're living in a society that has that kind of basement where that is available to them.
Mm-hmm.
And most addicts are not rich children. They're poor people.
Yeah.
Most homeless people are not rich children. They're people that were struggling. And then we have no low-income housing. We have no social safety net or labor rights. So we're going to get a lot of people that fall through the system. And if you don't want homeless people, then you got to...
get rid of them.
And you got to have good labor rights and stuff.
Yeah. It's true.
So, yeah, I mean, what do you think about watching porn from an early age?
It was definitely, I mean, it definitely had an effect on me, like probably the reason why I've been single for so long. You just growing up, seeing all these different magazines, and basically it's the same white dude having sex with all these different girls in different magazines. So I'm like, oh, that's what a guy does. He just goes out and has sex, like that's what makes a man, growing up as I grew up. But I mean, like I've mellowed out a lot since then. Like I don't even really watch porn like anymore. All that. I mean, when it's necessary, if I need to get one out, but that's about it. And it's not like I've never was like obsessed with it to where it was like I had to watch it all the time or reading it. Like, I mean, I never really did have access to like internet porn until I was like 18 because we lived in the country and dial-up was barely out there, and we had like a family computer in an office room, And so when I moved out at 19, I bought a computer, and I got Wi-Fi hooked up to my apartment, and that was like the first time I actually like had full-blown like access to the internet.
Was that a momentous time in your life?
That was a great apartment. I loved that. My first apartment, it was cool.
There's jizz everywhere.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
It's covered. Just your wallpaper.
The walls were painted like
I think like that's bad, but I think that's in general. Like a lot of people feel that way, that a man needs to go out and have a lot of sex.
Yeah, I thought, and for a long time I thought that's what it was, and I don't know, just growing up, age, experience, heartache, all the combination of everything, just life, I've kind of realized that it's really not all that important, It's really not that big of a deal. So you learned
that it's not important to like go out and try to fuck as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And it's better to have like a stable, loving
It's thing. A lot nicer and a lot more mellow,
Yeah. But not as much.
I mean, even like the last couple of years when I was single, I was single. I wasn't going out and trying to get laid, wasn't going out partying, like wasn't on my mind. Like had a couple hookups occasionally throughout the year,
Yeah.
A couple little flings, but I mean, it wasn't like a hard thing to do. Like even living here in Austin, like I mean, this girlfriend's like the first girl that I've like hooked up with. It's like she's the closest one that lives in this town,
She's
like,
in Temple.
She's an hour away kind of thing. Like I just don't mess around with it. Like it's difficult working at the gym though. Sometimes there are like a lot of good looking girls at the gym, and like I work the front desk, so they just come up and talk to me all the time, and like they'll linger at the desk and chat, and it's like they're just throwing it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, cool.
I know, but if they really wanted it, they would have actually pursue it. And it's like, I guess if you were single too, then you would pursue it and maybe you can meet in the middle. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe a lot of them wouldn't have pursued you if they knew that you were available. Maybe they sense that you're sort of unavailable and that you're safe and that they can be themselves around them.
No. Plus, I'm the guy at the gym and I see them 5 days a week. I come in.
Work there.
I work there. Yeah, and it's
your
like
exposure effect.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's like, and plus, you don't want to shit where you eat when you're actually like, you don't want to have the trauma at the place where you go to get work,
It's risky because you could get fired. Mm-hmm. It's not a good move. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously not that big of a deterrent because people do it all the time.
No, they do. Some people just don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, love is way more important than some stupid job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Some front desk job at a gym, yeah.
Yeah. So, unless it's a great job.
Yeah, it's not the greatest job, but I enjoy it. It's easy. And yeah, and I get to free gym membership. I'm at the gym 5 days a week minimum, and I'm working out every day,
That's good.
It's nice. I'm up early, which is a drag sometimes, got to go to bed a little early on some days, but I sleep. When I get off work, I'll take care of what I need to do, take like a few hour nap, and then get up and go out and do comedy, and then I'll come home and I'll get like another.
It's a good life.
Yeah, I work out. I get my 8 to 10 hours of sleep a day.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
You got a good work schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
do you work like full time or?
Yeah, I work 5 days, like Monday through Friday, and I'm working. I'm technically a part-time employee, but I pick up shifts and I make full-time hours there. Nice. People always need some time off, and like during the day, it really doesn't mess with anything I need to do, Yeah. Other than the other day on Sunday, I was like, I'm working late today. It just happened to be one of those days. Yeah. But.
So what do you think about socialism?
Socialism? Which one's that?
It's the one where labor rights, less money going to the super rich, more money going to workers.
Oh, they spread it out. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, my little brother actually has his degree in socialism.
What?
Not socialism, but
social work.
Not social work. I'm sorry, I'm still a little stoned from earlier.
It doesn't
sociology.
Matter. Oh yeah, that's not socialism.
No,
that's just the study of. different cultures and stuff.
Oh, okay. I mean, in theory, it seems nice, and I would love it. I'd love to be taken care of, have more money coming in, and being able to live freely. Like, that sounds great and everything. But at the same time, I kind of like the struggle sometimes. I'm enjoying the struggle right now. I mean,
but like, what amount of struggle will you be willing to put up with versus how much is being stolen from you? Like, yeah, sure, you could make do with what you have now, but how much do you actually deserve?
Yeah.
Like, we are producing more than ever before, and we still have the same amount of income. I just think like, yeah, it's great that we have enough now, but the amount that's being stolen from us is like unconscionable.
Yeah, they get a lot.
Yeah.
Like taxes and everything.
No, not taxes. Like corporate
Oh.
malfeasance and lack of labor rights, lack of unions. You think the problem is the government?
The problem's always been the government.
But who controls the government?
It's like, isn't it like I don't know, it's some rich guy probably.
Yeah, then why blame the government? Why not blame the rich guy?
I mean, because, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. I mean, of course you blame the rich guy.
Yeah, I mean.
But I mean, who knows who that guy is? You don't have access to him. He's not on any lists, you know?
Yeah.
Someone you've never...
Not like the Forbes list or anything.
Yeah, it's someone you've never heard of, you know?
Yeah.
Just
So, like, politics, like, you don't really care about it?
I don't really mess with it, dude. It just kind of bums me out. Like, just like then turn on the news and it's always like country's negative news on CNN, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, I stopped watching the news and getting into all of that. Like, I'm a terrible American. I don't vote. I don't pay attention to any of that. I just live my life and just go about my business, going with the flow. And my parents like try and talk about it with me, and I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about, and they kind of get frustrated sometimes. But like my dad will be like telling me about like Trump or Pelosi, and I'm like, okay, like what'd they do now? I guess, you know, or
yeah, it's not of concern to you.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just a.
What are you concerned about? The honeys at the gym?
No, I'm just concerned with being happy, trying to make myself happy and provide for myself and be a provider, and a good enough provider that I could maybe like have a family one day if I wanted that, or also just do the things I want to do, but I also want to do something that makes me happy. So that's why I'm pursuing comedy, and I'm concerned with getting on shows and doing the best of my ability. And I mean, that's my main concern right now. I mean, that might be selfish on like, cause it's just I'm pretty self-concerned at the moment, you know, about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was pretty set up back in California before I moved out here. I could have taken over the family business, had a cushy life, and I made the decision to.
Right, but that's not fun, right? Like,
yeah, it's not.
No
fun.
one wants to just be like, "Oh, I made it through life."
Yeah,
comfortably and happily.
Exactly. So like, I'm concerned with like dealing with the struggle for like being on my own for the first time in my life, you know, without the safety net of the family business or having money. I have to go out there and produce my own.
Trying to make something more than just like a normal, like, like in the 1400s, you mowed all the lawns and got a good crop, and congratulations. Like, no one's going to remember that guy, but like Leonardo da Vinci or like Michelangelo, it's like people remember him. Legacy.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, you want to make a mark. I feel like,
yeah, I
mean, you're making a mark right now. Your pen's on the paper right now, dude.
Yeah.
Just how big is the mark gonna be, you know? And just make it as big as possible.
Well, I feel like I'm in a good place now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like, I'm ready to make a mark, but I feel like right now I'm just like, you know, lying in the shadows, trying to figure out where to go.
No, absolutely.
Because I don't want to like make a big stink and just come out as a communist right now and then blow my load. And
oh no, yeah, absolutely. You're still just like I said, you're sitting there and you're slowly making that mark. You're figuring out where you want it to
be.
Lying in the shadows.
In front of all those people.
It's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, because I don't want to do like this podcast. Like, it's fun and I get to practice and get better at it. So that's why I do it. But I don't want this to be my
main thing that people know you for.
This isn't like the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like with now today's like in like today's world, it's like you're a comedian, you gotta have a podcast now, you know. But it's like do you really want to be doing that? Because I mean,
I do.
I mean,
I get a lot from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed mine that I do.
I love that it's so cliche. Like,
yeah.
oh, you have a podcast. Everyone has a podcast. Yeah, good. Everyone should have a podcast.
Yeah.
And like that gives me the cover to be like, yeah, I'm a comedian with a podcast. But what I'm actually doing is like therapy and like.
No, absolutely. This is
free.
Yeah, for free with friends. You know, people you're interested in having conversations with. You're learning. You know, it's awesome.
It's fun. Yeah, it's like what your idea of like only thinking about yourself and not worrying about politics. It's like I worry about myself by boring people by talking about politics and how I hate women.
Is that the theme for like every episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like we should take care of the homeless.
Your podcast, the He-Man Women Haters Club with Hans Kim. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, Women Haters, Communist Women Haters.com.
.com. Wouldn't it be .org?
Come
on, you should make it a .org.
What's the difference?
Just organization. .organization.
.gov. .biz. Yeah. So how old are you?
I'm 35.
Okay. That's great, because I'm used to talking with people that are younger than me. And you grew up with Hustler magazines. So.
Yeah. But yeah, when I was in middle school, I used to like take a few of them to school and sell them to like all my friends and stuff. Make some money. Need a new skateboard or something. Just take one and like sell it to a kid at school.
Let me see if the audio is working. Can you read that? I don't have my glasses.
I'll drop a like though. Hans smells his farts. Mr. Hans Kim, Senior Kim in the office.
Anything
Hans,
about the sound?
No one's saying anything about the sound at all.
Okay.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Okay. I think that's it.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Sound's working.
Yeah.
They're my PA. They're my.
They're your soundboard.
Engineers. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
I'm thinking of having this be over here.
Yeah, it might
that
be.
way it's not like it looks weird.
We're plugged right in. That's it. Actually, it is a pretty cool view, like the vantage point at the front.
The liminal lines.
Yeah.
What are you doing a podcast? You do a podcast, right?
Mm-hmm. I do. Me and my roommate, we have a podcast that we just started putting on YouTube. It's called Playing Pussy with Matt and Nick, and it's spelled PZY, and it's like more of a therapeutic podcast, kind of like this.
Matt and Nick?
Yeah, with Matt and Nick. Matt Amos. I don't know if you've met him yet.
No, I don't think so.
He's a buddy of mine that I moved out here with. But it's more of like a therapeutic podcast, like how we do it. We're just two comedians that talk to each other and talk about our weeks, and it's called Playing Pussy because like we have this saying that we like. It's like if you play pussy, you're gonna get fucked. So don't play pussy. Go out there and like, do your shit and handle your business and be the best you can be. And then we just talk about like what happened to us in that week.
What does that mean? Don't you want to get fucked if you are a pussy or if you play like a pussy?
Do you want to get fucked or do you want to like rock the situation? It's like not fucked in the having sex sense.
Like you want to get.
Like, oh man, I'm
screwed over.
Yeah, you don't want to get screwed. You don't want to like lose out on anything. You don't want to be fucked like that.
You got to be strong and confident all the time.
Or not, like just work on it and like have set goals. And we just discuss what we did that week, and then we talk about like how if we had goals for like a set, or if we talk about our like previous sets at different shows. And it's just
a comedian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
He doesn't come out much, but he is a comedian. He's been going to a lot of open mics. But
he's funny to himself. He makes himself crack up.
He's pretty funny.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I was just kidding. Yeah. Because he doesn't go out.
Yeah, he doesn't go. He's just like really introverted.
Yeah.
Like he's heavily
for a comedian.
It's really weird. And he has this whole theory about how comedy is like an introverted thing because it's like you're the only one on stage and you're talking. And,
yeah, it's your ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
People who need other people probably aren't gonna be good at it because they need that counter punch to fight back against.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it takes all types. At some point, you have to provide your own intellectual backing for what you're saying. You can't just rely on other people and making fun of them.
Yeah, you have to make sure everything stands up and holds up.
Yeah, you got to have your own thoughts.
Yeah. But I have that. So we have that podcast, Playing Pussy. And then I have the Drinking Coffee with Nick podcast. You know, it's more of like an anti-podcast or a little talk show.
Yeah.
And I do those two things. And those have brought me a lot of fun. And I mean, when I first moved out here, Drinking Coffee with Nick started just because I was meeting a bunch of people and seeing everyone putting clips out and content, and I didn't have any of that. So I was like, well, I'm brand new to the scene and like I need to be visible at least. So it started off with just me sitting in front of the window saying, oh, hello, welcome to drinking coffee. I'd look out the window and say something. Like the first one, it was during the freeze, and so the window was all frozen. And I was just like, oh, it looks chilly outside. And I took a sip and did the slurp, and I was like, thanks for stopping by. And then I did one more, and then a comic was like, hey, do you ever want to do like guest? Can I be a guest on that? And
who was that comic?
It was Ben Howard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Ben Howard came up to me and he was like, are you going to do guests or anything?
Like,
I would love to be.
Exactly like me.
Yeah, he's like, and I was like, yeah, sure, come over. And then we did it. And then after his, I did one with Matt, my roommate, and then people started really liking him and asking, hey, can I come on? Hey, come
You
on.
were here for the freeze?
I was here. I was not the heavy
freeze.
not
oh,
the
you were
freeze.
here for the winter.
I was here for the winter. When I say the freeze, it was like frozen for like 4 days. You know?
You can't say the freeze. The freeze was
Well, I just meant like, okay, so it was frozen for
a freeze.
A freeze, yeah. Not the freeze. I wasn't here for that. No, I heard about that.
Yeah, I'm glad I missed it.
I'm glad I missed it too. Like people talking about their power being out and everything.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any power outages like at my apartment, so I was happy.
Yeah, you shouldn't have fragile infrastructure. You should get your shit together a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, that's what kind of got me into like having a podcast, was just like doing it with just out of necessity.
Yeah.
But then that's why I did the drinking coffee one, and then me and Matt, we just sit there and talk about shit, and it's fun, and I always feel good afterwards. Like you said, it's therapeutic. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we have our own radio shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the day when we were growing up, it'd be like, oh man, it would be awesome if we had a radio show, and now we can have one and
now we actually do
find out how hard it actually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, would you play music on yours, or if you could?
So I know Matt would want to, because like we do start talking about stuff, and he likes to play guitar, and he's really into metal, so he'll bring up like music references, and like I know there's times in the podcast where he would be like, oh, and like you could see how he did this in this song, you know, and he'd bring it up. But I mean, I just kind of sit there and chat, and Matt asks me questions, I ask him questions, and we just bullshit and have a good time. And I don't even know how many I mean, there's a handful of people that watch it, like probably about this many, you know.
Yeah.
Like on the views, but
a handful,
you know.
Nice. You can pick 5 people up with your hand.
Yeah. Well, one at a time.
That's hard to do, man. You have been working out at your gym.
Been working out.
What do you think about yoga pants?
They're the best.
I know.
They're amazing.
So crazy.
They're so good. They're like the greatest invention.
It's like the world is really a good place.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah, I mean, people want to show off their butts.
They do.
And we should let them.
And they do, and we do.
Yeah.
I mean, we let them here in Austin. We let them show off their chests too, but they don't want.
They don't take advantage of that.
They
one.
don't take
That's
advantage
a little
of it.
too far.
I mean, too far. I mean, they passed the law, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like nobody wants to be the first one.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you have an amazing chest.
Yeah, you're flaunting it for no reason. You're just like, oh yeah, we're doing it.
But if you're the only one doing it, you're gonna attract a lot of negative attention.
There are a lot of unwanted attention.
Yeah.
Negative would be on the perspective, but yeah, unwanted for sure.
Well, yeah.
You've seen those videos where the women like the women like have their pants painted on, and they go walk down like the streets of New York.
Yeah.
They're just walking, and like they have like jeans painted on them, but they're just wearing no pants.
Yeah, that's why I always make sure that it's actual pants.
You're up there. And
I don't want to be like, oh, I'm in the video. I totally didn't realize she was naked. I could have got an eye full of ass.
An eye full of ass, yeah, not an ass full of eyes, because you wouldn't want that at all.
My ass is full of eyes.
Very
a lot
true.
of eyes on my ass. What? I mean, I've been trying to like curtail my staring.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to be too starey, because
Mm-hmm.
it is really easy just to get lost in that.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
My
You
my
just gotta
guiding
remember, count to
philosophy-
3. 1, 2, 3. Cool.
1, 2, 3. You kind of speed over that.
Yeah, that's it.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
Yeah, because 3 seconds can be a long 3 seconds. That's when you get caught. So you go 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I'm glad the music guy isn't doing that. He keeps a better beat. Maybe just do 2 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
Okay, do 2 seconds then.
My philosophy on staring at women is to not make it weird if I eventually do end up talking to her.
Yeah.
Like, as long as it's like, oh, hey, what's up? Nice to see you.
I mean, all you can do is, I mean, worst case, I mean, they say, what are you looking at? Oh, I'm sorry. I was captivated by her beauty.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not you going up to them and being like, hey, baby, what's up? You know, if you got caught staring, she questioned you, you own up to it in a polite way. I mean, she can take it the wrong way still.
Especially in America, they hate that shit.
Yeah.
They're like, how dare you?
Yeah.
I know I dressed up and I want to look pretty, but this is meant for my economic gain. And you're just taking it from me, even though it cost me nothing.
With all the white people appropriation that's gone on in our country, and then also the combination of that person being one of those people that don't want you staring at them, why haven't they started wearing burqas?
Exactly. That's what we're heading towards.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you start like policing women, or women are like, I don't want people to stare at me. This is all for me.
Yeah.
My beauty is not for the society that I hate. Yeah. Like if women love the society that they're in, then I feel like they would be more beautiful. But then you get these liberal people that like cut their hair short and don't wear makeup and wear like shitty clothes because they don't like the society and they don't want to make it a more beautiful place.
Yeah.
So if we had like a decent society, I think there'd be a lot more hot people around. Well, if we legalize abortion.
Legalize abortion, you know, the free healthcare, you know, people can take care of themselves easier. It gives them more desire to take care of themselves, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you're in a situation...
They feel cared for.
Yeah, they feel cared for. They're going to care for themselves and others.
Mm-hmm.
I like how we keep circling back to it.
Yeah. What do you think? You think I'm gloomy and misogynistic?
I mean, not right now.
I mean, you're not concerned by anything.
I'm not concerned with you.
You don't think I'm a danger?
You could be a danger. I could see it running a little wild. You know, just like you said, you want to make that you want to change that about it. Just be a little more open, and it'll take some time, but you just need to make the conscious decision and just be like, be a little like just more accepting. Maybe you know, don't rain on.
Well, you can only be so accepting for so long before you're like, this isn't working out. These people are assholes.
That's true.
And that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, I mean, you just pick who you want to be around, you know? Like, you can still be that same person, but you don't have to stay in the same circle of people.
I mean, eventually you have to be around some circle of people.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but you got to pick. That's your decision to pick who you want to be around.
But you can't always pick.
Not always.
Especially if you're, like, working at an office or, like, you're in a city.
Yeah, but I get that, but you don't have to make them part of your personal circle. Like, that's your work circle.
It's just like, I just don't, I feel like all people are shitty, like in general, like there's like a pall of shittiness over our city and country.
I mean, everyone can be shitty.
And then I'm like I have like a port open for women. Mm-hmm. And then that's where all the hate and negativity comes in. Because if a dude is shitty to me, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't really give a shit. But
it
like
bothers you when
women
girls are shitty to you?
Yeah. And I'm sure men are way worse if I was trying to fuck them. Yeah. But I bet it's not, because like gay guys seem pretty happy.
Yeah, they seem pretty nice. But I mean, so it really bothers you, like the
women being shitty affects me more, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're shittier than men. I just notice their shittiness more.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it's just because you're not that interested in another man, you know?
Yeah, I don't need as much from them.
Yeah.
From a woman, I want to take everything.
I want to take everything. So you've been doing a lot of traveling lately. Mm-hmm. What's been your favorite place to go to? Like, as of recently, like on like your travels, like the show wise, not necessarily because of like the show, but like the cities you were in. Did you do any like a cool exploring?
I didn't really do any cool exploring. I just like, hang out with this crew of people in different cities.
Okay.
It's like, oh, my friends in this situation, in that situation. I think it was Chicago that I had a really cool experience in. We had a hotel that went up, and then you had to go across and then go up on another hotel.
Oh, another elevator?
Yeah, and then I remember the lobby very vividly for some reason. But that's like, I think it was Chicago. Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, it was a cool experience. I got to stay in some really nice hotels, some of the best hotels, which is really cool, see how people that are actually taken care of feel. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's cool. The elevator had a layover.
It did.
A connecting elevator.
I think in Vegas I had to do that in one of, no, maybe not. No, in San Francisco I think I had to do that. Take another elevator to get out and walk down the hall to the other.
Do you
elevator.
like traveling?
It's fun. I like it. I don't mind flying.
Depends on what the context is. Travel is so vague. You can travel to get murdered or.
Well, I like flying. It's fun. The airports are cool. I mean, they're not the best, but I mean, I haven't done it too much in my life. So, I mean, I enjoy being on an airplane. It's not bad. I always end up sleeping the whole time anyway. So I never really sit there and experience like the airplane, but I like going to new places, like going and checking out like state parks and stuff, going to like real places of like just being outdoors is nice. I like traveling and going to big like music festivals with my friends. We would do that like a lot, like back home and stuff like that. Like every time there's campy music festival would happen, we'd just get tickets and go like travel 2-3 hours away.
You're a big music festival guy, right?
I used to be really into going to like house and
what is it that
stuff.
you like about it? The chicks painting their boobs.
Chicks painting their boobs is always nice, but I mean like the music is good. I enjoy it. I enjoy like being able to dance and sit around, dance with my friends in a place where I don't feel like I'm
sit around and dance with your friends.
You know what I mean? Go and be around all my friends. Chill
dancing.
Do drugs and have a good time. You know, like.
Isn't it weird to like think about dancing though?
To think.
Let's go dance somewhere.
You know, I don't know. I don't think it's all that weird. I think it's fun to be like, what are you guys doing tonight? Oh, we're going dancing. You know, like really, I'm going to see this DJ that I like.
I got this move that I want to try. I think you guys are gonna like it.
Oh yeah, you got any special dance moves? You got any? What's your go-to? That one. All right. I always do like this.
The arms.
That's it. You know, that's my move.
You like to flare the elbows.
Elbow flare. You know, maybe take a step here, step there, and just
step around.
You know, just goof off. That's the one thing about going to like those music festivals. Everyone there is fucked up on drugs. No one's looking at you. You can act as silly and goofy as you want, and no one cares, and you're just having a good time. And
it's very human. It's very primal to like gather around a campfire and move around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You ever gone to any music festivals or any like? Big?
Yeah, I went to the one in Bumbershoot in Seattle. Okay. But yeah, I haven't really gone out and sought it out. I know I would enjoy it, but it's sort of weird for me to be like, let's choose to be happy. Like that's not in my arsenal.
Oh shit. Well, maybe next time a good DJ comes around, I'll get us tickets and we'll go.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love to partake in the tribal dance of our people.
Yeah, just go dance around, be goofy, have some drinks, and talk to people. And if you do talk to them, and if not, that's the cool thing. Is like you can go and make friends. And I still have a lot of good friends that I stay in touch with that live all over the country from just going to different music festivals and then just meeting them. And they're like, oh, we're from Denver or we're from Seattle. Like, you know, so I have like good friends. Actually, one of them was just in town for his bachelor party here in Austin. I went up and met up with them, you know, and it was weird because we met in California and they're from Seattle, you know.
Yeah. So you guys are meeting people in the right context.
Yeah, it's like people that are interested. Yeah, people are interested and they're in a good mood. And like you said, they're spreading love because we're surrounded by a bunch of love and everyone's having a good time. No one's fighting.
There's no homeless people. You only get the best.
I mean, technically, we're all homeless there because we're camping in tents.
That's
you know
not what homeless means.
I know what you're saying. I was just making a joke.
Right. Yeah, because you guys are nomads. It's like very primal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's a good time.
What's your like ideal music festival?
My ideal, I don't know. My favorite one so far has been Dirtybird Campout.
I've never heard of it. That's so cool that the best one is like a hidden one.
Yeah, it's by a record label called Dirtybird. And they've been putting it on for I think now 7 years. I went to the first 5 of them, but I didn't go to like the last 2. And it was out in California. They made another one for the East Coast called Camp Inn, and they rent out like this big hotel, and they throw like the party and the festival all weekend inside that hotel, which is pretty cool. So
it's just dancing and socializing and drugs.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's cool.
And then all my friends back home are DJs and music producers, so they're like, I'm always like, whenever
you're in that world.
Yeah, it was just always in that world because I like the music one, and then that's what they do, and they book shows, and so it was fun. Like big DJs would come in, or DJs would come into town, or we'd be at an event doing everything. I'd actually like get to know like the actual artists themselves, because like they're like, oh, eventually it comes down the line because you make the rounds talking to people like, oh, what do you do? And like, oh, I'm a comedian. You know, it's like something different for them because everyone's talking music with them, and then I think they're more drawn to like hanging out and talking to me because it's happened quite a bit. You know, it's like that comic and musician connection.
Do you think like your personality has been shaped by these music festivals to be more chill and be ready to talk to people and socialize in a music festival setting?
I think it couldn't hurt, you know. I mean, I feel comfortable there when I'm there and enjoying myself. I'm dressed goofy as well, and or maybe just in shorts and like just maybe no shirt or just hanging out. And,
you're wild.
Yeah, you know, you just go and have a good time.
You see the good side in people. You like access the positive side, and you're like, oh, in a grocery store, oh, let me, you know, this side of them exists as well. They're just not showing it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt until they prove me wrong, and then once you prove me wrong, then it's just then
it's death and destruction.
I mean, then it's just like you're cut off.
Yeah. You
know, I mean, I don't care. Like I'm very easygoing, but I mean, like you betray or fuck someone over, you know, that's why am I gonna stress about you anymore?
Yeah.
Just bye.
Yeah.
Just kind of clean your hands of it, you know.
There's so many people you can pick and choose and have like editorial control.
Mm-hmm. That's what you need to do. You just need to make sure you're
doing that.
I know. That's good.
Yeah. Why are you telling me that I have to do that when I'm already doing that?
Well, I'm just saying. You were talking about how you seeing the negative earlier. So, I mean, that's kind of like how I do it. That's how I do it.
Well, you said that there's like a lot of haters, and it's just because like they're around other haters.
Yeah. Surround yourself around positive experiences like you have been, and continue to do that, and your circle will probably get bigger, or maybe not bigger, but just more quality.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm trying to find people I get along with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't like some people. I think some people are not very conducive. I think they're toxic, and then cut them out of my life. What do you think about slavery? You think that we should learn how to empathize with slave owners so that we can better understand and have empathy and love for people that are hateful, so that we can come together as one?
I mean, theoretically, that's how you're supposed to overconquer that, you know. You beat hate with love. But you can't. I mean, it's a hard situation, especially. I mean, bringing up slavery, like that's terrible. I mean, owning another person.
Yeah.
I mean, what gives them the right to think they can own another human, a sentient being? You know what I mean?
Yeah, hierarchy, because they have power and they want to use it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, that's still very prevalent today. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if you have steadily improving slavery, and then you get to a point where it's like technically it's not slavery, but you are getting paid as little as possible to do as much work as possible, then it's like, yeah, I mean, technically it's not slavery, but it's still not good. We should try to move more away and up.
I get that, but when it comes down to it, they have the decision to walk away. If you're talking about jobs, like they have a decision.
But do they really have decisions? If you take away as much as possible, like you don't give them any health care or food, and then you're like in the hood, there's a McDonald's, you could work there or you could starve. It's not really a choice.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, where there's a will, there's a way, man. I mean,
what society has the most social mobility, and is that our country, or do we not have very good social mobility?
It's difficult to say, because I mean, we have, for all the bad stuff there are some good stuff, and for all the good stuff there's a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah, you just got to make sure that it doesn't fall into a mixture of too much bad, too little good. Yeah,
that's why you just got to push the positivity and the love, you know, when every opportunity, fight for it.
Win.
We'll fight and
defeat
win for
the Confederates and get rid of slavery.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Trump?
I think he's hilarious. He's a funny dude.
So we should elect him again because you love positivity and humor?
I love positivity and humor, so that's why we should vote for him. Honestly, my life wasn't that bad when Trump was in president. I mean, I didn't vote for him.
Well, how much better could your life have been under the leadership and warm embrace of Hillary Rodham Clinton?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they created COVID to shut the world down so they could get rid of Trump. They had to shut the world down to get rid of him, And every time you turn on social media or get on social media, I should say, and you just see a funny clip of him doing something wild.
Like what? What's the funniest thing that he's done?
Like the whole grab him by the pussy, just like calling people names. It was hilarious, just him talking like that. Because you're a guy, I'm a guy.
I could find you way better clips. It's the context that's funny. Like,
okay.
let's elect fucking Ron Jeremy, and he'll say way more fucked up shit.
Yeah, he would say fucked up shit. I'm not saying I want him to be president just because of fucked up shit. I don't even necessarily want him to be president, but I'm just saying. I don't even believe the president has all that much power. I think the government's just already picked and ran and from above, and it's just a facade,
I mean, I get it because, like, you don't really have any say in it. I mean, we don't really have any say in it, so you might as well find the joy and humor in it.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're looking at it objectively and, like, sort of, like, pretending like you have power and then trying to, like, gameplay an armchair quarterback, it's, like, not the ideal situation for this country or the world. But, I mean, if you enjoy it, then I guess, like, just have a good time.
Yeah.
What do you think about transgender people?
They exist.
Do you think that maybe there's more than that exists than really that are suffering from that medical condition?
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, how pissed do you think, like, a hermaphrodite, like a fully born person with both genitals, how do you think they feel about this? Like,
just every teenager that's a little sad.
Yeah.
Is now
what is it? You have the joke. You have the joke where it's like millennials about, like, oh, I'm like a 5, so I'm gonna change my hair and turn it. I'm gonna turn my hair blue and become a different gender. Yeah, I like that joke. It makes me laugh.
Just because it's so mean.
It's so mean.
It's like, I mean, nobody wants to say it, but that's like a large portion of people or teenagers that are just like, they
think it's the thing to do.
Want to be hot.
Yeah, they think it's the thing to do, or they want something about them because they don't have. That could be a thing. It's like, they don't have any, like, real identity, like, that defines who they are, what they're into, and then unfortunately some people just have that ability or have that identity crisis, and other people are just doing it for attention. It's
sad because, like, there's, like, kids that have it, and then they're like, I always felt like a boy or a girl, and then like, and then, like, now there's, like, laws in Texas, like, you can be arrested for child abuse if you do that shit.
Well, I mean, a teenager, like, someone without a fully formed, like, frontal lobe shouldn't be making that decision at any point before that, like.
Yeah, and if you are a 4 and you want to change your gender because you're not hot, then fine, you should be allowed to.
Yeah, you should be allowed to, but I mean, they should be able to do it after, like, a certain point, like, you should.
Right, but then their body is already formed. Like, if you get it at puberty, maybe you could really change it up. But I mean.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, like, let's say it's just like me exactly how I am right now. It's just like, I think I'm a woman now. Like, I've had the, like, but that's like 13-year-old me thinking that. But there's no, like, real medical condition for that. Like, I don't know. It's a touchy subject. I've never like met anybody that's been just like, oh, I just did it because, But,
well, no one would say that.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of examples of people that are just, like, losers, and now they're like, I have a thing now. I'm interesting, finally.
That's true.
But I mean, I think everyone needs to be physically something instead of intellectually. Like, why don't you work on your brain and make something of yourself besides just changing your gender? Because that's, like, the least interesting thing you could do. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, like, if you want to dress like a lady, dress like a lady. And if someone asks you why you do that, be like, because I feel like this, I mean.
Yeah. And then actually have something to contribute besides just the fact that you're willing to take a risk and get a surgery.
Yeah.
Like, we don't value the right things in people, I think.
Yeah, society doesn't.
Yeah. But I think, like, the main goal of education and jobs and cubicle work is to create stability. Like, just keep everything the same. Don't question, don't try to change anything.
No, absolutely. It's definitely It's definitely a problem. Our education system's fucked. We adopted our education system from the Prussians, and they're
Really?
yeah. I did a paper on it in my philosophy class, like my last years of college, and it made me like really regret the previous 3.5 years in college. You know, like because it's basically we adopted the system because Prussia had a system that basically bred followers that would not retreat or disobey like their generals, you know, because they had a war one year where everyone retreated and they lost. So then they developed this system and like their boot camps and stuff to like basically create followers. Yeah, like yes, man, and like just listen.
People were like, that looks like a good.
And
we need more of that.
And then
in our world.
the American public system adopted that system and put it into schools because that was at like the height of the Industrial Revolution, because they needed people that were educated enough to be able to work in a factory, but also keep them dumb enough to be happy working in a factory. You know.
Yeah,
like you said, keep that stability, and that's what our current education system is based off of, and it's like,
and that's why our anger is put into useless directions, like flat Earth.
Yeah.
Or you know,
how dumb is that? How fucking dumb is that?
It makes sense though. I get where a lot of that is coming from, because it's like if the world is gonna let you grow up in food insecure household, and your mother is gonna be single, and they're gonna lock your dad up for your whole life, then why wouldn't they lie to you about all these other things?
That's true. I mean, my little brother, he likes to talk about all that stuff, and he shows me like the UN map and stuff all the time. He's like the UN flag. And he's like, this is just a map. This is what the world really looks like, you know. And then like my favorite new one that I would like. It's not that I believe it, but I would love it to be real, is like how Antarctica is like basically an actual wall around us, and then the rest of the world is like beyond that, and like you can't go see it or anything like that. Like if any of those were to be true, I would hope it would be that one, just because I think that would just be mind blowing, you know?
Yeah,
like for us to
Game of
experience
Thrones.
that. Yeah, like oh my god, we've been lied to. Like if something like that happened and it was like legitimately proved, but at the same time,
yeah. Well, to some people, it is like that. Like the fact that their dad was locked up for no reason for marijuana. It's like the ice wall. That's like pretty much what you did to them. So it makes sense that their brain would be that broken.
I mean,
because you shook up their world.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, yeah, I mean that does suck. But I was just saying, I was talking more about the context of if one of those conspiracies were actually like 100% true, and like if we got to find out it was true, you know.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. But yeah, I mean that's a shitty situation though for them as well, being inside that metaphoric ice wall.
Yeah. I think we should treat people better, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to preserve the wealth of the people that run our world, and we just give them the power. We're like, whatever, that's theirs. This is the way it is. Don't change it up. I'm fine. I get enough. And it's like, it could be so much better. And we're just happy with not horrible. At least it's not terrible, but it could be great.
Yeah, it could be great.
But yeah, I mean, what is on your mind recently? Any controversial subjects that you've been dealing with?
No, not controversial subjects really. I've just been focusing just my nose to the grindstone really. I've just been trying to grind it out. And
how do you come up with jokes?
Like I'll get stoned and maybe go for a walk and like think of stuff, or like maybe I'll see something and like I'll just write, something funny will pop into my head. I'll write it down. I like to do some free writing where it's like
it could be like the sidewalks here suck. We could maybe improve our infrastructure.
Just a bunch of like infrastructure jokes.
Yeah.
That's how I came up with the homeless one, you know, walking down the street and seeing the homeless people, come up with homeless jokes. And
what neighborhood do you live?
I live down South Congress, like William Canyon, like not too far from where I used to live.
Oh, okay.
Like
There's homeless people all the way down there?
Sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean sometimes, but also like getting stoned here in downtown and walking, you know,
okay.
like we'll
migratory homeless people.
Yeah. I do that. I'll do free writing and just get a bunch of junk out. You know?
Yeah,
and then
I do that.
And then
I think walking is good. A lot of famous writers and artists walk.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I like to, sometimes when I'm driving. A lot of times when I'm driving, and for some reason it feels like, because I'll be like not listening to the radio and just kind of doing like going where I'm going and just thinking. So some stuff will come up like that. So then I just grab my phone and just talk into it real quick, you know.
Yeah.
But the free writing helps out a lot, especially just getting junk out, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll sit there and like write, like I'm just writing because I have
practices. You practice getting what's in here out here. So even if you don't get anything out during the free writing, after the free writing, you're better at converting thoughts into words.
No, absolutely, yeah, and that's been really beneficial. And honestly, I've been haven't been writing as much as I should. Still a couple times a week, you know, but not like every day. And I've just been kind of trying to get more comfortable being myself on stage instead of like that character, the deadpan like dry guy. Trying to be a little just more, have more fun, interact with the audience a little bit more. You don't want to
be trapped in that.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, it wasn't bringing me. It used to bring me a lot of joy to do that, you know, like to go up there and crush like that. And it hasn't been as fun doing it. And that was something I was talking with Matt about on our podcast. And so I started doing it about a month ago, and like really just trying to like.
Well, you don't want to force it either, right?
No, not like forcing it, but just going up and being like, all right, well, I'm not gonna be the deadpan. I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna have a good time. You know, like I'm gonna enjoy myself on stage.
And then if you choose to be deadpan, then it's a decision made out of power instead out of weakness.
Yeah, you know. And
so, what do you think about Elon Musk?
Elon Musk, he just had some babies, didn't he?
He has like 11 babies.
I know he has 11, but he just had some recent ones.
Okay.
I think that was the last thing I heard about him in the news.
That's the good thing about being a man. Is you can have so many babies back to back.
So you can have multiple babies at the same time if you time it right.
Having a baby as a man is easy.
Yeah, dude. You just show up. That's it.
It's so crazy. It's so unfair.
Pretty much almost like being a dad. Show up and you'll be a dad.
Yeah. Just have to exist.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Elon Musk is decent. He could be so much worse. But ideally you'd have 500,000 Elon Musks with that money spread out instead of just one inventor, and we have to rely on him. Hopefully he does the right thing, makes the right decisions.
Do you think he'll do the right thing, or do you think he'll become like
I think it's impossible.
Like Superman villain.
I think it's impossible for him to do the right thing. I think he'll do the best he can because he's a decently intelligent person who has a decent moral compass.
Yeah.
But I think he is set up to fail. Like no one can handle that kind of responsibility.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. What do you think about? I forget. Yeah. What are you gonna do tonight?
I'm just gonna hang out, probably just work on some stuff. I'm gonna probably do some studying. I'm gonna get certified as a personal trainer, so I make more money at the gym and just make it a little easier to live a bit. You know.
What is the certification process for being a personal trainer bullshit, or is it actually?
I mean, it's
useful.
It's useful. It's good information. I mean, I'm learning some stuff as well as like some of the stuff I already know. So I'm just reading the courses online, and I'll take the test and then.
Like what's something that you learned?
Hey, I'm just like getting learning like just they've been like learning like my cardiovascular system, like learning about just learning all the different effects or things about it has made me realize that I need to work on my cardiovascular health. Like I'm gonna starting to do cardio and do stuff like that. You know, just learning the vocabulary is a little differently because you call it like your bicep or your calf muscle or like your back, and it's like your lats and your traps and all that. It's just all the different terminology.
So you know what you're working with more. Yeah,
learning how to spot imbalances in people's form and things like that. Like to be like, that way you know how to correct it and stuff.
Yeah, so I just don't trust the education system that we have, and it seems like a lot of our certification processes are built on the back of like. Oh, take a test and here's a bunch of information.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. Yeah, but I mean, it's useful information. And
yeah, I mean, it can be, but is it like retained and is it updated and is it really like, because knowledge is so fluid, like, like a lot of, especially with exercise and diet, like people have new theories and
all the time. Yeah, you got to stay up.
Schools of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think that process of certification can be useful. I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's an online course that you read and then you take a test. They have videos and structures, but I mean, I'm learning.
Do you trust our systems of government? What did you think about COVID and our response to it versus other countries' responses?
I mean, I just think COVID was a little blown out of proportion personally. Like, it was the flu.
But if we didn't take it seriously in the beginning, when it was way more deadly than it was now, then do you think that maybe it could have gotten way worse?
It could have, maybe, possibly.
Like the hospitals were overcrowded.
I mean, yeah, but a lot of that, I feel like a lot of that was panic. I mean, there's just people with fevers going to the hospital that had COVID that like barely had any symptoms, but they had COVID. Like I got COVID and it was nothing.
I know, but you probably got it a little later on when it was.
I got it early.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got it like within the first like couple months.
But like if you go to a hospital and you see like people dying and people on ventilators and
I mean that sucked, but a lot
shit.
of those people got from what I was told and heard, like a lot of those people that died from the ventilator just because they went on the ventilator. They never
right, but the fact that they had to go on a ventilator means that they would have died even without a ventilator.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure it was inconvenient, but like but the purpose of a society isn't to make sure that you can go to TGI Fridays every day. It's like to preserve the human race. And if we just let a disease spread throughout our species, like it's not a very sustainable solution.
No, I understand that, but I mean, the flu kills people all every year, you know? I mean, it's death is part of life. Like,
right, but like it killed way more people than the flu.
Yeah. Or did they just die from the flu and they called it COVID?
Well, why would they die more from the flu now?
I'm just saying. I mean, flu cases like dropped off completely when COVID happened.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We cured the flu by.
I think like the way to come to that decision to come out of lockdown and isn't like, I think we did it in the most contentious way possible.
No.
Where we're just like, I want to go out now. And I don't think that's like the best way to make decisions.
No, I mean, that's not. But I mean, I just personally feel like if they would have just let it, like, we would just continue with our lives and people wore masks and there's no, I didn't like the lockdown at all. Like, really.
When would you have implemented the lockdown, or when would you have gone out of the lockdown?
I don't think I would have put us in a lockdown.
At all?
At all. I think I would just, keep your distance, but I mean, like, to lock people down.
Do you think there's a disease that maybe we should lock down for? Like if there's something that spreads through the air and is killing a bunch of people?
Yeah, of course. Like if that's what was happening, like, and people were like dying left and right.
Yeah.
But I mean, this might be selfish to me and I don't want to piss off anybody that lost any family members or anything like that. But I mean, I only know if like a couple people that got it and died. Like,
right. But it's not like a statistical analysis.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I just have a different perspective on death because of like when I worked for the coroner's office, like I'm more comfortable with it. Like it's part of life. It's part of death, as fucked up as it might be to say, more people die, right.
I mean, the point of a society should probably be to keep as many people alive as possible. And if you have to like not be able to go to Cinnabon as much as you want, then.
Yeah. But do you think it was do you think it was as bad as it was to justify the restraints that was put on the world?
I think the restraints were worse than they should have been because we didn't give money to people. We had the Paycheck Protection Program that all went to corrupt businesses because that's the ethos of our country is like try to steal as much money from everyone else as possible. So
yeah, I know. I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, for the actual physical, you think
it was fine. Yeah, lockdowns should be a thing. They did it in Korea. They did it in Japan. They did it in other countries.
I mean, they did it everywhere. Yeah, it was worldwide.
And they had much better responses and fewer deaths and fewer cases. And we were kind of a petri dish that COVID could like experiment in and spread to the rest of the world. So I don't know how many people died because of that, but I mean, if you don't want to quarantine, then that's on you. Like if that's the kind of world if that's the kind of country that's what you want to do as a country, then you should be able to decide to let it spread if you want. But I mean, if it affects other people, then it's like people are not going to be very happy about it.
Yeah. I don't know. It was weird to me because I had an essential job. Like my business was essential, so I still went to work every day. I still did the everyday life, but then I was just forced to go home. It's like being grounded, So I mean, it's like it wasn't to me. It was like the only thing I couldn't do was have like a normal life. All I could do is go to work and go home, you know, like,
right.
so, I mean, maybe I would have felt differently if I was in a position where I was locked down and quarantined the entire time. But even during quarantine, I was forced to be around public.
Right. You should have been like fucking given a stipend or like an added bonus, but
like
all
hazard
that money,
yeah,
went to fucking whoever, the CEOs. I think like if you want to engage with society, you have to do it on society's terms. Like you can still do whatever you want, but if you want to, interact with people in society, then you should like society has some requirements.
Yeah.
Like all the things that you can do alone, you can still do.
Yeah, like the guy getting arrested for surfing, you know, like that's like he was definitely, nobody was around him for 6 feet, you know?
Right. But if everyone is doing that, if they're like, oh, the beaches are open.
Yeah.
Then it's like they can get into contact with each other. But yeah, I mean, maybe one guy surfing is like, it looks
bad.
It looks bad to arrest him. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we didn't really know how to prevent the disease. We were just like, wash your hands, do this, do that. But we didn't really know how to do it. And now we kind of know, like, oh, it spreads to the air. That means avoid air contact with other people.
Yeah.
And we can do it a little more intelligently. And we sort of threw the baby out with the bathwater with some of the policies. But I think it was worth the price that we paid to maybe have a couple more grandpas kicking around.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, I mean, for the
opinion.
I mean, for the aspect of like family and love and stuff, no one wants to lose a loved one. I don't wish anybody to have to lose the loved one because of like any sooner than it's their time. But at the same time, like I'm just familiar with it being a part of life, and you know, population. It would have helped population control a little bit.
Well, so would a fucking guy with a machete running around an elderly folks home.
That's true. Yeah, I used to work in one of those too.
You worked everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
What was your essential job?
It was the auto glass business, the family business. Like people needed to fix their windshield with their cars because people still had to drive around and go to work and do stuff, and so it was considered essential. And,
I mean, everything's essential.
Yeah.
Really.
So I mean, we were considered essential. Got to stay open, but it was shitty because like that perspective sucks. Like going to a place where the public walks in, and then on top of that, you have to look like an asshole to everybody and be like, put your mask on because like you don't personally care if the mask is on or off, but there's other people in the business, and when it's your family business, something that you run, like, you know, having a dad that reads reviews, you know, he's just like,
what do you mean reads reviews?
Reads reviews.
Oh,
like
reviews.
Yelp
right.
reviews and stuff like that.
Like,
you know, people.
I went in and they didn't have any masks.
Yeah, they have no masks on. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It makes you be like a type of,
because everyone else is doing it.
It makes you be like a type of person that's really not you, and then at the same time, like you're coming in and seeing all these people acting like assholes that you have no control over because they're mad about the mandates and they're taking it out on you because you're doing what you need to do to stay open. Right. So the guy that comes by and inspects your business, I agree with you. Yeah.
I don't like masks. I'm an anti-masker.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't like this, but also this is what puts food on the table. You know, it's like.
Well, do you think masks are that big of a deal? Like, why does everyone need to not wear a mask?
I mean, I don't think they're that big of a deal. They're just like, if you don't want to wear one, you should. I mean, take it. It's your own risk, you know.
Right, but the thing is, they'd be spreading it easier to other people. Yeah,
but people. I mean, the masks. How well did they really work? I mean, people still got it wearing masks, and I mean, I was wearing masks.
Maybe less.
Maybe less, but maybe not as less. You know?
Well, if only there were scientists that study this.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was a
breakdown.
Pull
up the report.
It was a breakdown in the way we run our shit. Mm-hmm. It was like the people that are in charge of finding out if masks works. Do we listen to them or do we just ignore them and say, they're corrupt? The people that are in charge of vaccines, do they know their shit or should we not listen to them? It's like we all have our specialty in society, like auto glass. Like someone was like, I don't think that you did it right because I read about it.
Yeah, and we got that all the time.
Really?
People do that shit all the time. Yeah, they think they know what they're talking about, and
but it's like friction. Like a society like that doesn't work. It's like, you didn't plumb it right. I read that you're supposed to plumb it like this. Well, I've been doing plumbing for however long. Yeah, like at a certain point you should trust each other to do their job, and you do your job. And if there's trust, it works. But if there's no trust, then you have to be good at everything. You have to be good at auto glass and plumbing, and like if you could just trust people, And that's what a lot of other countries have that I think America doesn't, which is great because now we're suspicious and it's harder to like fuck us over, but that comes at a price.
Yeah. I get that. It's just, yeah, it's the cards we're dealt and we just have to learn how to play with them, right?
Yeah. What are you going to do with your cards?
I'm going to keep hitting until I get to 21, you know?
Because that's how it works. The more you hit, the closer you get.
Yeah, I mean, just got to keep going, man.
Yeah.
All you can do is move forward. And
you said you did a lot of shows now. You did less open mics.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little combination of just me going out and being like, I don't have really, like, I wanted to make sure I'm well slept for like work and not get fired, because it's just like, I don't know, just it's nice to have like a little chunk of money coming in guaranteed, like,
yeah,
this pays the bills, and I like being there. And so, and then it was just more about going to doing meaningful sets, you know. And I was finding that going to these open mics, we'd go and they weren't all that meaningful. Like, if I had something new I wanted to work out, there was no one there to listen to them, you know. Like, really, you know, the open mic scene is brutal here, you know. I mean,
yeah.
You've been doing comedy just as long as I have. I mean, you've gone through the open mic scene for just as long, and at a certain point, like, if you're doing shows and getting enough stage time for you, for your satisfaction, like, why go to open mics they're just gonna bring down your self-esteem about your sets or your jokes or something? You don't get real feedback. You get bad
habits.
Yeah, you get bad habits.
You try to impress people that are like shitty and dumb and stupid and gloomy and
and it's like I've never gotten I'm here working, being here, like, I've never gotten booked after going to an open mic, you know. I got booked asking people for shows.
Well, that's how we met. I saw you around the scene. It's not like about the individual open mics, it's just like showing face. And,
well, no, that's the thing, is I just go show face at the shows now, and then sometimes, like, you know, after like secret show or something, like I'll hang out there, or from performing on it, then I'll just walk over to like the creek in the cave after, and they always have a mic going on there on Thursday, so I just hang, and I'm always around at the spots, seeing everyone I need to, and seeing my friends and the people that I like talking to, and meeting new people, and then that's about it. I just balancing my time, you know. I'm getting my stage time, which is nice. I'm lucky.
You got on Kill Tony, you got on the Death Squad show.
Okay, yeah, done those, and then people have been booking me, and just people are seeing the coffee show. They're liking the coffee show, like, I mean, it's weird, like, I've had 2 people since I moved here that aren't comedians or in the comedy scene, like, recognize me from my coffee show, which is cool, you know, nothing crazy, but 2 people. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like,
yeah, it's getting out there.
Yeah, and so, like, people are enjoying it, and I've been just enjoying myself while doing everything.
The art of creating.
Exactly. And then when I do shows, you know, I'll have my sets that I plan out, and I write out my sets and everything, and then, like, I'll be like, all right, well, this is a new joke. It's going to go between this banger and this banger, you know? So if, like, it bombs, it went after a really good joke. And if it bombs, then another really good joke's coming right back.
Try out new stuff.
Yeah,
you're experimenting.
I always like try and take a little bit of a risk, you know, because, you know, if you don't take risks, there's no reward.
Yeah. That's fun, man. The journey, the creation, the art of it. I think it's a great journey, and it's like the only journey, really.
So far, yeah. That's what I'm enjoying.
It's what all life is, and I think this is a great art form to get into.
It's a lot of fun.
It's bottomless.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You're playing with the audience.
Sometimes I can't believe this is like my life. I get to do this, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm still striving for it to get better, to do it more consistently in front of more, like, do as many meaningful sets as possible, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I hope to have that attitude as well.
Yeah,
I like to think that I do.
I'm just trying to get on Kill Tony again and be your alternate regular. You know, like David Lucas has Ellis. I'll be your alternate regular.
Well, yeah, I mean,
do you have any more water?
I think that you can do a lot of great comedy, not necessarily take my job, but...
Oh, no, I didn't say take your job. I just said just be there for when you can't make it, you know?
Well, I think that that's... You don't have to get that to be happy, but...
Oh, I don't have to get it. It'd be a nice goal, but it's not... Yeah. I feel like I'm pretty happy here. Like, I can honestly say that I'm enjoying my life at the moment.
Right.
There's some struggles involved, but I mean, it's only building character and making me better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that we should call it. You good?
I'm good, man.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks.